Most people will live and die without ever knowing who they are. They wake up every morning and put on masks they don't even realize are masks. They wake up as someone's child, someone's sibling, someone's partner, someone's employee, someone's friend, someone's servant to their desires and fears. They move through life, performing roles so perfectly that they start believing they are those roles. But Carl Jung said the most terrifying thing. He said, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. Because to face your soul means to admit that your life has been built on lies. Lies you told yourself to survive. Lies others fed you to keep you under control. Lies that felt like love because you were too small to see the chains wrapped in affection. Most people live fake lives because it is safer than the truth. The truth demands everything from you. It demands that you burn down who you think you are so you can rise as who you truly are. And that kind of death terrifies people more than physical death. So they settle for comfort. They settle for approval. They settle for the predictable misery of a life unlived because at least it is familiar. From the moment you are born, you are told who you should be. Be a good child. Be polite. Be quiet. Be obedient. Be what makes others comfortable. Don't be too loud. Don't be too wild. Don't be too honest. Don't be too emotional. Don't be too different. Slowly, you begin to cut away pieces of yourself to fit the mold. Slowly, you begin to silence your desires to avoid punishment. Slowly, you begin to abandon your truth to avoid rejection. Until one day, there is nothing left of you except a persona so hollow that even your own reflection feels like a stranger. But you keep performing because people praise you for it. They call you good, responsible, successful, admirable. They reward you for betraying yourself. They give you love for staying small. They give you safety for staying silent. They give you belonging for staying asleep. And you tell yourself, this is enough. You tell yourself that the emptiness inside you is normal, that the restlessness in your chest is just life, that the silent screaming of your soul is just anxiety or depression or exhaustion. You numb it with work, with achievements, with relationships, with sex, with alcohol, with drugs, with spirituality, with knowledge, with entertainment, with scrolling endlessly through the lives of others so you don't have to face your own. Anything to avoid sitting in silence with yourself. Because you know if you did, everything would collapse. Carl Jung called this collapse individuation, the process of becoming who you truly are. But individuation feels like death to the ego, because it is the death of illusions. It is the death of masks. It is the death of the fake life you built to survive. Most people will never choose this death. They would rather die as someone they are not than live as someone they don't recognize. Because to become your true self means you will lose people. You will lose relationships built on your pretending. You will lose respect built on your submission. You will lose love built on your self-abandonment. You will lose everything that was never real. And what will remain is you. Just you. Naked in your truth. Alone in your authenticity. Free in your being. But most people don't want freedom. They want comfort. They don't want truth. They want validation. They don't want love. They want approval. So they keep living fake lives. They keep playing roles that make them sick. They keep sacrificing their dreams for the expectations of others. They keep swallowing their pain so others can feel comfortable. They keep silencing their rage so others can feel powerful. They keep abandoning their needs so others can feel loved. They keep dimming their light so others don't feel insecure. And then they wonder why they feel empty, why they feel tired all the time, why nothing ever feels enough, why they can't find meaning in anything. Because meaning does not exist in a fake life. Purpose does not exist in a fake self. Joy does not exist in a fake love. Peace does not exist in a fake mind. Most people will live their entire lives chasing things they don't even want. They will chase money to prove their worth. They will chase love to fill their emptiness. They will chase success to silence their inner critic. They will chase knowledge to hide their ignorance. They will chase spiritual experiences to avoid their psychological wounds. They will chase approval to avoid their fear of rejection. They will chase dreams that were never theirs to begin with. And even if they achieve it all, they will feel hollow, because it was never rooted in their soul. It was rooted in their wounds, and wounds can never create fulfillment. They only create more wounds. Carl Jung said that the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. But privilege does not mean comfort. It means responsibility. The responsibility to shatter your illusions. The responsibility to confront your shadows. The responsibility to stand alone in your truth. The responsibility to live without needing approval. The responsibility to burn down everything fake within you. And most people will never take that responsibility because they are terrified of what they will find underneath the masks. They are terrified of their own power. They are terrified of their own darkness. They are terrified of their own desires. They are terrified of their own freedom. So they keep themselves asleep. They keep themselves numb. They keep themselves small. They keep themselves fake. But you are here listening to this because a part of you is tired of the lie. A part of you is suffocating under the masks. A part of you is screaming to be seen. A part of you knows that you were not born to perform. You were born to live. You were born to burn. You were born to create. you were born to speak. You were born to love from your soul. You were born to walk a path that no one has walked before. You were born to become yourself. People think living a fake life is harmless. They think pretending is normal. They call it being mature, being practical, being realistic. But Carl Jung saw the truth. He saw that living a fake life destroys your soul slowly, like rust eating away iron from the inside until it collapses into dust. Every time you betray your truth to keep someone happy, a part of you dies. Every time you swallow your voice to avoid conflict, a part of you dies. Every time you say yes when your soul is screaming no, a part of you dies. Every time you force yourself to fit in where you don't belong, a part of you dies. And people wonder why they feel dead inside, because they have killed themselves piece by piece to survive. Most people wake up every day with a heaviness in their chest. They call it stress. They call it tiredness. They call it mental health issues. But Carl Jung would say it is the weight of the unlived life pressing down on them. It is the silent grief of never being who you were meant to be. It is the mourning of your soul for a life you abandoned to keep others comfortable. They keep running from this heaviness. They keep themselves busy with endless work, endless entertainment, endless distractions. Because to stop and feel it would mean admitting that everything they built is rooted in fear. They fear judgment, so they build a personality that pleases everyone. They fear rejection, so they build relationships where they abandon themselves to keep love. They fear failure, so they build careers they hate but are considered respectable. They fear loneliness, so they surround themselves with people who drain them. They fear insignificance, so they chase achievements that mean nothing to their soul. And then they wonder why their life feels empty. Because every choice was made by fear, not by truth. Every step was taken away from their soul, not towards it. Carl Jung said that people will do anything to avoid facing their own soul, because the soul demands truth, and truth destroys illusions. Truth destroys the fake life you built to survive. Truth demands that you burn down every mask you wear. Truth demands that you walk away from every relationship that keeps you small. Truth demands that you let go of every identity that is not rooted in your being. Truth demands that you stand alone, naked in your authenticity, unprotected by the shields of conformity. Most people cannot handle this. They would rather live as a lie than risk being alone as their truth. But what they do not realize is that living a fake life is the loneliest existence possible, because no one truly knows you. They only know the masks you wear. They love the roles you play. They admire the lies you uphold. They praise your submission to their expectations. And every compliment they give to your mask becomes another wound to your soul. Because deep down, you know, if they saw the real you, they would leave. If they heard your real thoughts, they would judge you. If they felt your real emotions, they would call you weak, dramatic, crazy, unstable, sinful. So you keep performing, living a life that suffocates you, while silently praying that one day someone will see you and love you for who you really are. Carl Jung said that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Most people blame fate for their suffering. They blame destiny for their emptiness. They blame God for their loneliness. But it is not fate. It is the consequences of living a fake life. A life built by their unconscious wounds, fears, and conditioning. A life that was never truly chosen. They think they are making choices, but their choices are just reactions to fear. Their desires are just echoes of other people's expectations. Their dreams are just reflections of society's illusions. When you live a fake life for too long, you forget that it is fake. You become so identified with your mask that removing it feels like losing yourself. But Carl Jung taught that the mask is not who you are. It is who you became to survive. Who you truly are is hidden underneath. The child who spoke without fear. The child who felt without shame. The child who dreamed without limits. The child who loved without conditions. That child is still within you, buried under layers of roles, responsibilities, guilt, shame, fear, and conditioning. Individuation, Jung said, is the process of returning to yourself. It is the painful stripping away of everything that is not you. It is the death of your false self, so your true self can be born. But this death is not easy. It feels like madness. It feels like losing everything. Because you will lose everything that was built on your fake self. Friends will leave because they were friends with your mask, not your soul. Lovers will leave because they fell in love with your performance, not your truth. Family will reject you because your truth threatens the illusions they live in. Society will mock you because your authenticity makes their masks feel exposed. This is why most people will never choose this path. They will keep living fake lives. They will keep betraying themselves for belonging. They will keep abandoning themselves for love. They will keep silencing themselves for peace. They will keep dimming themselves for approval. Until one day, their body collapses under the weight of their unlived life. And they will die as strangers to themselves. But for those who choose truth over comfort, the path is painful but liberating. Because when you burn down your masks, you become free. When you walk away from fake relationships, you become whole. When you let go of fake identities, you become powerful. When you speak your truth without fear, you become unbreakable, because you are no longer living to survive. You are living to live. And that is the greatest rebellion in a world that thrives on fake lives. Most people will go to their graves never having lived a single day as themselves. They will be buried wearing the same masks they wore in life. Masks of goodness, masks of success, masks of humility, masks of spirituality, masks of strength, masks of love. Each mask perfectly crafted to fit the expectations of those around them. Each mask perfectly hiding the truth of their soul. They will be mourned by people who never knew them. Their funerals will be filled with praises for virtues they never truly felt. People will say they were kind, loving, patient, selfless, dedicated, hardworking, good. But the soul that lies in that coffin will know none of these words touch who they truly were, because no one ever saw them, no one ever heard them, no one ever loved them for who they were beneath the masks. And that is the deepest tragedy of living a fake life. Carl Jung taught that the persona, the social mask, is necessary for survival. Without it, we cannot function in society. We need roles to navigate the world. But the danger is when you forget that it is a mask. When you become so identified with your persona that you think it is who you are, your soul begins to starve, because the persona is not fed by truth. It is fed by approval. And approval is a currency that keeps you enslaved to others. As long as you seek approval, you will never be free. You will betray your truth to keep it. You will abandon your needs to keep it. You will silence your voice to keep it. You will become a puppet pulled by the strings of other people's opinions. Most people are terrified of freedom. They think they want it. They speak of it. They fight for it. But they do not want true freedom, because true freedom demands responsibility. True freedom demands that you own your choices. True freedom demands that you stand alone. True freedom demands that you stop blaming your parents, your past, your society, your circumstances, your fate, your God, and realize that your life is your creation, and that terrifies people more than any cage ever could. So they remain in their prisons. Prisons of expectations, prisons of family honor, prisons of cultural conditioning, prisons of religious guilt, prisons of societal norms, prisons of collective illusions. They decorate these prisons with achievements, with relationships, with possessions, with knowledge, with spiritual practices, with acts of charity, with beautiful words. But the walls remain, and every day their soul grows smaller, their light dims, their voice weakens, their dreams die. Carl Jung said that people will do anything to avoid facing their own soul, because the soul demands truth, and truth is brutal. It shows you the relationships you must leave, the careers you must quit, the beliefs you must burn, the lies you must confess, the masks you must shatter, the parts of yourself you must reclaim, the shadows you must integrate. Truth leaves you naked, trembling, alone. But it is only from this place that real life begins. because only from this place are you finally free to create yourself. Most people do not want to create themselves. They want to be created by others. They want to be told who they are. They want to be given identities, labels, roles, so they do not have to carry the burden of choosing. They want to be defined by their family, their religion, their culture, their society. Because to define yourself means to stand alone. To define yourself means to take risks. To define yourself means to become an autre in a world that rewards conformity. To define yourself means to lose everything false so you can build something real. And most people will never choose this path because it is easier to live a fake life than to face the pain of becoming real. But for those who do, life becomes something extraordinary. Not easier, but real. You will lose people. You will lose comfort. You will lose approval. You will lose belonging to the collective. But you will gain yourself. You will gain a peace that is rooted in truth. You will gain a strength that is rooted in authenticity. You will gain a love that is rooted in freedom. You will gain a purpose that is rooted in your soul. And no one will be able to take these away from you, because they are not given to you by others. They are born within you, from the fire of your own becoming. Carl Jung said that the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Most people will never experience this privilege. They will live and die as copies of copies. They will pass down their masks to their children, teaching them to abandon themselves in the same way they did. They will call it tradition. They will call it morality. They will call it honor. But it is nothing more than generational betrayal of the soul. The world is filled with people wearing masks, performing roles, living fake lives, and calling it reality. But you do not have to be one of them. You do not have to die as a stranger to yourself. You do not have to spend your life chasing approval and calling it love. You do not have to sacrifice your truth for belonging. You do not have to dim your light so others can feel comfortable in their darkness. You can choose to awaken. You can choose to peel away the masks. You can choose to burn down the fake life you built. You can choose to stand alone in your truth. You can choose to become who you truly are. Comment below. I choose my truth over their approval. Subscribe to Psychatic for more Carl Jung truths on shadow integration, freedom, and the brutal psychology of human life. If this video shattered your illusions and set you free, consider leaving a super thanks to support this channel. Share this with someone still living a fake life today.